In this video, we're going to show you how to install a purpose-built Rockford Fosgate audio system. Hey everyone, I'm Eric and we're back here in the Rockford Fosgate R&D lab. Today, we're going to install an RZR-STAGE2 kit in this Polaris RZR Turbo. First, let's go ahead and get started by removing the dash assembly. Once we removed the hood, we started on our dash assembly by removing these 4 Torx screws using a T40 driver. Now we're going to move on to our upper center dash pocket and remove these 2 push pins using our extractor. Then we'll go ahead and remove the entire dash assembly from the RZR. Now that we've got that finished, we've got our dash kit laid out onto the table. Now you'll notice there's some extra trim panels and bezels available. We're fortunate that this particular model has a center upper pocket as well as a lower center pocket. Now we're going to head back into the RZR and remove that lower pocket, and then we'll show you some really cool installation tricks with this kit. Now that we've got that done, we've got one more trim panel to remove for this video. We've got a lot of configurations here, and it's easier to show you the assembly while it's on the table itself. Now, it's not necessary to remove this trim panel, but for stages 1 and 2, it'll make the install easier. Cool thing about this kit is it gives you a lot of configurations to mount the radio. The PMX source unit included in this kit can be mounted in either the upper or the lower portion of the dash. For installation in the upper, use these 2 trim panels. For installation in the lower, use this trim panel and this metal bracket. Now, for future upgrades, you can also install a PMX8 using these trim panels. Now that we covered all the configurations, we're going to show you how to install the source unit in either the upper pocket or the lower pocket. Now for the upper pocket, we're going to use the supplied hardware to connect the source unit to this inner trim panel. Then we'll connect this entire assembly to the back side of this outer trim panel. Now that we have the upper dash kit assembled, we're ready to install this into the dash itself. You'll notice at the bottom of the trim panel, there's some locking tabs. When inserting the radio, make sure that you lock those tabs in first. Okay, now we're ready to show you the optional lower pocket installation for this radio. We're going to first start with this metal bracket and this trim panel. This gets sandwiched to the dash so it secures it in place. The trim panel will be on the outside, the metal bracket will be on the inside. Now notice, the bracket has tabs on both the top and the bottom. This will go toward the dash. Once we have that assembled, we're going to secure our source unit using the supplied hardware. Now that we've covered both upper and lower mounting options for the included PMX radio, let's take a moment and talk about the included trim panel for the PMX8. Now, this option is only designed for 2019 or newer RZRs like the model that we've got behind us. The PMX8 features a large LCD, provisions for a backup camera, and is SiriusXM ready. Now, the only caveat is we don't include mounting brackets for the black box. However, it's pretty lightweight, so you can fabricate your own for installation up under the dash. Now we're ready to install our wiring harness. To do this, take the side with the ring terminals and from the inside, route those through the factory grommet up to the accessory wiring panel. The terminal strip is just a simple distribution block, so there's no wiring behind it. With our 10mm nut driver, simply connect the red wire to the accessory terminal and the black wire to the ground terminal. Now notice, we're not using the constant red terminal because we don't want to keep our radio on all the time. Okay, now that we're done with that, we're ready to install our lower speaker pods. You'll notice these have channels built into them. This is for the side subframe, and this one's for the wiring harness. We're going to start off using our 1/2-inch socket to remove the lower bolt from the side of the subframe. Then we'll insert this threaded standoff to replace that factory bolt. Then we'll use the provided screw and secure the enclosure to the side of the RZR. Once that's done, you're going to use the included ball head Allen and secure the enclosure to the bottom floorboard using the supplied hardware. Once we're done with that, we just route the speaker harnesses to the center pocket and zip tie them to the subframe. Okay, now that we're done with that, we're ready to install our speakers. First, we'll connect the positive and negative wires to the speaker terminals. You'll notice these are keyed so you can't mix polarity. Then, using the supplied hardware and included Allen bit, we'll use the #1 hole to secure our speakers to the lower speaker pods. Okay, now that we've got that done, we're ready to reinstall our dash components. As you can see, we're installing the radio in the upper pocket location. The lower pocket is going to be reserved for some car-to-car communications. However, if you are installing the radio in the lower pocket, the LED that was attached to the back of this can be zip tied to an existing harness. Now, once we get the dash in place, we'll make our electrical connections for our ignition, lighting, and accessory. Okay, now that we're done with that, we're ready to install the upper dash panel. First, we're going to go ahead and make our speaker connections. The driver side connects to the left and the passenger side connects to the right. Then we'll go ahead and pull our main power harness through and connect it to our PMX source unit. Then we'll install the radio using these 2 factory pins up here to the top of the dash. All right, now that we're done with that, we're ready to test the system. We'll reassemble everything and get this thing back out on the road. As you can see, that install came together pretty easy. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact our technical support. They can be reached Monday through Friday at 1-800-669-9899 or through live chat at the bottom of our website at rockfordfosgate.com. Until next time, I'm Eric for Rockford Fosgate. We'll see you again soon.